so let's take a look here. We're going to be watching Stefano. I would assume this is Stefano. Yep, StefanoSkirmish, the red player. Playing some Japan. The map is High Plains, a Great Plains variant, and it is, as a Japanese player, one of the most rewarding things to see. A 300 wood start, which is absolutely great. So just to start out with, for a villager split, we want to be looking at 3 villagers on food, 3 villagers on wood, so that you can get that consulate started as quickly as possible. Try and split your villagers a little bit better on your wood crates so that you can get that consulate started as quickly as possible, but not the end of the world here so far. Alright, consulate. Oh, alright, so, okay, pause, time out. Time out. We're gonna take a very we're gonna talk about very high level things with Japan first. With 300 wood start, I would almost always advocate for doing a consulate beginning, due to the fact that economically it's just going to set you off on the right foot. It's actually a pretty big map and a really good map for shrine booming, and against a French player who's likely going to be doing some sort of semi-FF build, or maybe he'll be playing aggressively. Either way, you want a pretty good shrine economy. You want to split him up on the map. So I'm not a big fan of this market start. I'll work with it to see what else we got, but I would advocate for doing consulate start in this matchup every single game if possible. That being said, we'll see what else happens. Market start, not all bad. Villager production, pretty good. Nice treasure here. I would have tried to get that right away. Alright, so you've got this upgrade coming. You can get civil servants here as well, which is actually okay. I would definitely get civil servants at this point. If you're going to do this market start, might as well commit to it. Might as well commit to it. Japan doesn't have a lot to look at early game. I mean, it's gathering cherries, scouting, right? There's not a lot to comment on because you're just fire and forget putting your villagers on cherries. This is a little bit awkward. Let's look at the placement here. This is a little bit awkward. You kind of block out this coin mine. I think you would be best off having your cherries be like here and here. You can definitely fit them in like this location so they're both on the backside. So you are going to be sending Heavenly Colony, but you're not Portuguese consulate booming, so it's a little awkward. I mean, 2 vills is equally awkward, probably more awkward. I'd also take out Onin War and put in 600 coin in your deck. The number of times you're going to need Onin War is very, very low. In fact, I can't remember the last 1v1 I played where I said, damn, I wish I had higher siege in my infantry. The only other thing that I think is worth mentioning in this build is you could have picked up Civil Servants with this build. I think would have made it slightly better. Civil Servants affects all resources, would allow you to chop a little bit more wood a little bit more quickly, which would be kind of nice in the transition as well. Alright, lost out on treasure. That happens. Happens to the best of us. Alright, Sugar Shrine going down. I'm not a big fan of this placement of the Sugar Shrine. Should be probably over here on the right side. Protects your cherries a little bit. And has a higher chance of picking up a large number of bison. Definitely do pick up the first wood gathering upgrade with this variation of this build that you've done. There's no reason not to. That's the only merit I can see in this build currently, and so I would definitely do that. Have the wood upgrade, and I would have had civil servants as well. You would actually be gathering a pretty good chunk of wood here in the transition if you did have civil servants and water wheel both researched already, but you don't have them, so it's a little bit awkward. Obviously, you're just using up 18 more wood per shrine than you would in the traditional build, but you do have a slightly stronger villager economy going here with the market, so I do think it's wrong, but the overall way that you've played it, I don't think it's been too bad just yet. Actually, it looks like it's a pretty long game. Alright, you have wood. Wood for racks, maybe, is what you're going to put down with it. 300 export. Like, this is, there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to this build that I can see so far. Is this a consulate? Okay, it is a consulate. I'm very curious what this is going to be, because this is like non-standard Japanese play whatsoever. And I'm actually not hating it, which is something that's surprising me. Because the way you've actually played it so far is not the way that I would play in general, but I don't think it's actually horrible. Just like from seeing the setup that you have, the barracks, everything, like the building placement, everything like that's actually been okay. You're at a serviceable shrine population. I'm curious to see what you're going to get here with this 300 export. Of course, building the consulate late here with the 300 export does give you the niceties of saving that extra 75 export from diplomatic intrigue as well. So maybe you like ally with Dutch here and get out the bank, which is like kind of a cute play. 5 Ashy. Okay, so I'm curious to see how this develops, because 5 Ashy doesn't really fit into this from what I can understand. You're going for isolation. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here. This is completely a tangent that's maybe irrelevant, but I want to go on it because I think it's kind of an interesting build. If you would have gone 300 export, 4 cut shrine population around 90, prioritized getting market upgrades, and done 300 export, Dutch consulate, gotten the bank, maybe gotten the batch of muskets that comes with it after the bank. You do have the little bit of coin trickle that comes from allying with Dutch as well, and then gone 4 you'd actually have a pretty good economy without shrines, without being so shrine dependent. And I actually kind of like the build. Like, it actually gives me kind of a good idea for a build of my own. I don't think that this is inherently bad. It's not as reliant on shrines or the shrine placement, and I think it could be good. Now here it looks like you're just going to be training Ashies and doing what? You're still gathering a lot of wood, which I think is not necessary with whatever you're going to be trying to do here. Make sure you train villagers. Not going to have, like, what are you going to put in, you have 700 export. You have to spend it in some way, like right now. Bushido is wrong. Maybe you're going to make Shinobi. I guess that makes some sense. You're basically going to have 10 Shinobi here with this build. Is this, I'm curious if this is the one that you win or this is the one you lose. I've added, first you get beat, probably because you let him build TPs and didn't fully shrine boom. Rematch where I beat him with a crazy, I wonder if this is the crazy 300 export strat that we're seeing. I'm not convinced it's not. And just by seeing the length of this game, like, it makes me curious. Alright. 2 trading posts. At the same time, he's making trading posts here as well. I don't think this is as good aggressively as it would be economically. I actually legitimately think this could be an okay build had these not been Shinobi. Shinobi just feels so awkward here to me. That being said, I haven't seen... Okay, this is problematic, like these villagers being out here. I haven't seen anything that's overly problematic. I mean, you're not training villagers right now. You've been penned up a little bit. I'm going to turn back the sounds a little bit. This is awkward, like with your villagers going over here. It's a little bit late on your Minutemen call. Lost a couple villagers. Notice how awkward this, like all of this has been awkward in your base. Let's pause and talk about that a little bit. This is probably like the first thing that, aside from me just fundamentally not agreeing with your build, that I think you've done poorly. One, you had 4 villagers over here that got isolated out. 2 of them, I believe, died as a result of being over there. And a lot of that comes down to this placement here. The overall placement of your buildings in your base isn't very good. And it's one of the most crucial aspects of playing a good Japanese, is getting good building placement. The Shrine Wonder should be over here. The 2 cherry orchards should be here and here. and then you would have free reign over your coin mines. Here, though, you're blocking off the actual surface area for your coin mine. If you like see what we've got going on here, there's not a lot of room for villagers to pack in here, and so as a result, a couple of them got swung over here when this little area filled up, and then that makes raiding very easy for him. So clean up your building placement. The consulate and the barracks are okay. Arguably, I wouldn't put your barracks or whatever your first military building is quite that far out, especially outside of TC range, but it hasn't come back to bite you. But this placement has. The Teshugo and the Cherry Orchard placement has come back to bite you. Got a fairly decent army. Shinobi, of course, do a surprising amount of siege attack. Helps control the TPs a little bit. Shrine population is not bad. One thing that I've noticed is you haven't gotten a ton of market upgrades, which is something that I think this build could accomplish. So make sure that if you are going to make a market and have it be an integral part of your early game, that you actually do get all of the market upgrades. Yeah, you're pretty low on Vil count after that as well. A little bit of harassment here. Your scouting hasn't been great as well. You don't really know what's going on behind his base. That said, you've got him scouted out as basically going Muscus, which is great for you. You can make pure Ashy from here. Make sure you're training units. You have plenty of resources to be training units here. Train units, train bills, you've got stuff. You're probably concentrating on this fight a little bit too much at this point. That just comes down to speed and multitasking. I don't love the fact that we're sending Ashy attack here. I would love to be seeing us send some 4 villager cards, but at the same time, it's not maybe too bad. Getting a lot of decent damage in here. Killed 2 C2Bs, that's pretty good. Sloppy by him, that was really good in there. Killed all those muskets. This feels really good for you. Control your units back to this side of the stable while you're sieging this, just to take as much little damage as possible from the town center fire. This feels like a win from Japan from here on out. There come your market upgrades. They're definitely late. You've had the resources to get those basically at any time. This is a win from here. Like, Japan doesn't lose this position. I'm going to pause it to show you how bad this looks from his position. Like, look at where he's at. He's at 17 vills. He's got most of them in his town center. His herding hasn't been great. He does have 2. He has 2 TPs. That's not too big of a deal. He's short several hundred resources from aging. He's got 8 expos on the way, and he's just lost his stable. This is a win from Japan in probably 3 to 4 minutes time if you execute. So one, it makes me nervous that this game is still got like 60 or 70% of it to go, because from here on out Japan should win convincingly, is my opinion. Make sure, don't circle siege buildings. It's a good way to get yourself trapped. Like, see how when you're circle sieging here, like, this is an issue. We just saw, like, he's got 8 crossbows. He's popping out his villagers, right? He's creeping up his muskets. If we go back to you, you don't know quite as much of that because of your vision, but you look at how isolated some of your army is, right? These guys aren't going to be able to help in the fight whatsoever. You're basically going to be fighting with this army versus his vills, 8 crossbows, and these 5 muskets, which does lose, right? But if you had grouped everything up so that everything was standing right here, everything was standing right here, it would be a much more difficult angle for him to attack you from. You're overcommitting to this barracks. There you're finally going to start fighting. Make sure you focus down his military units. You have to kill these crossbows especially. It's very important that the shinobi are focusing on the crossbows, or the muskets, either right now. But just hitting the villagers is very poor for you. Let's look at look at the hit points of his units here. Like, look at how many, all of these CDB have got like 20 or 30 HP off them. And in fact, he's already got the Great Coat upgrade for them as well. So look at how much damage has been wasted on all of these villagers. That's quite significant when you've got pure ranged units. It's not, wouldn't be as bad just to slam everything in there if you had a couple cav here, but combined with the fact that you got isolated off onto the side, and then he brought in his CDB in a pretty impactful way. Kind of crappy for you, but you did kill some CDB. I can see how you're not going to win immediately off the back of this, but that's fine. Should be training units. During all of this, if you kept up your unit production, you'd have tons more reinforcements coming. We're not training villagers as often as we'd like. In fact, let's look at the post-game here very quickly. We can't. We'll look at the post-game afterwards. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see that the villager production has not been great. This is also a position where I don't think we need to be sending cards like Daimyo Mototada. You can just be sending 4 vills here, improve your infrastructure, get a second racks down, even send 600 wood, build some more shrines, and get a second racks down. Just continue your economic progression from here. Start using your daimyo to train units here. I mean, you have enough. You literally have enough enough resources to just immediately Q5 Yumi from your daimyo. And it's a mistake that you're just moving around and not doing that. Especially now when now with you have Bushido researching, you could get 10. You could get 10 Yumi out of this guy with your next shipment. Starting to look like you're going to try and contest the TPs, which is good. He's probably aging behind this fairly soon. Yeah, he's going to be ready to age. He's got Stagecoach. He's down to 14 CDB, which is actually pretty good for you. Pretty low eco game in general. Good. I probably would have killed the Explorer first. As long as he doesn't get away, it doesn't matter. Okay. You've got a ton of units here. You have to know he's aging at this point. It's very likely he's going to be aging at this point. Okay, this is a mistake. This is probably, you'd probably just like this card, but it's provides 0 use here. 600 wood or 4 vil is absolutely a better thing to do. Or 600 coin. In fact, if you had 600 coin now, you could just follow him up and you'd be fine. This is just a flaw in your decision making. Like, that card doesn't belong even in your deck. It's not going to be useful. Alright, he's aged up, but you know his economy sucks. Not the end of the world. Your macro here is getting a little bit out of control. There comes a bunch of Yumi finally. You still have there. Okay, there we're finally starting to spend our resources. Not training villagers, yeah. You realize that you could unqueue a Nagi here or a Yumi and gotten that villager and queue a little bit earlier. I still think you're okay. Oh, don't lose the daimyo. Probably want to wait for this. Well, you're still okay. I mean, honestly. Where's our cav? Get all this stuff rallied in, because like these units are especially the ones you need to be able to deal with his skirmishers. More cav, more villagers. His economy's still way behind. I'm still not a fan of the fact that you don't have 600 coin here, just because like this is, if you had 600 coin at any time you could send it in age, but it's very awkward that you don't have it. It's a must-have card. I'm gonna start speeding up because like this game is won for you. I still don't know how this game continues to go any longer. You can just attack move underneath his town center right now and you win. This should be the point where you look at the scores and you know that you're massively ahead from the military. The only thing that can lose you the game is if he gets out a ton of shipments because of his trading post economy that he's starting to build up. And I mean, you just won a fight convincingly. Just march into his base and kill him. That's just don't split up your stuff. Just get everything together here at the same time. Like, you kind of split up. Just ram everything right down the throat. We're all split up here. You see how all of your stuff is split up? Like, only like 2 of your units are actually attacking his units. You've got a bunch of stuff just randomly sieging here. You just need to get everything together. You've got tons of resources to spend. Haven't been spending resources very much. Look at how here again, like, you've just got half of your army, 10 units just sieging away, not actually doing anything. If these actually were all just in this fight, focusing down the military units, like, you'd be crushing him. You've got another 10 Yumi coming. I'm still very uncertain about how this game goes this long, even though there's been some cause for concern here. You have the resources to age. You should be aging right now. Probably just aren't practiced enough to be handling all of these different actions at this point. But the most important thing is to spend your resources. There comes the age. That's always going to be priority number 1, is to spend your resources. I like that you've made a decent switch to Yumi here. It's pretty good. He's got to have like 10 CDB, right? Yeah, 9 CDB. It's not very many. Alright. Lost the daimyo, got sniped. It's fine. Killed most of his stuff as a result. Doesn't matter. Train units. You're still so far ahead here. Let's take a look at your age 3 cards. They're fine. Should probably be training a couple more Nagis just to be able to deal with these skirms. Oh no! Alright, just a little indecisive underneath his town center. You must have a bunch of units stockpiled somewhere. Is that true? No, it's not true. You're still fine, though. Like, 3 Corsairs with a 9 CDB economy is not ever any cause for worry. He literally doesn't have anywhere to hunt. He's fully reliant on TPs for food at this point. His next hunt is completely shrined up. Spend, spend, spend. Got lots of resources. Get those upgrades. Most important thing about getting to the next stage is to get those upgrades. Gotta get those upgrades. Gotta get the 10% upgrade, or the veterancy upgrades. So important. Close combat, good card. Oh no. Here come the upgrades. Ashi are so much safer than Yumi just for this reason. You don't ever have to worry about getting surprised by a bunch of cav. You can also use Ashi just to hunt down skirms eventually. I thought you had a second Rex. No, you probably need a second Rex. You just need to be spending your resources. Look at how many resources you have. You have so many resources here that you need to spend. Gotta find a way to spend your resources. Okay, they're queued up a bunch of builds. You know, as horrible as this is going to say, I don't actually mind this for newer-ish players. At least you're going to have constant build production for this portion of the game, right? Which is something you haven't had very frequently this game. As long as you have the resources to do it and still be getting out big batches of units, like, I'd rather see you train villagers, and if this is the way that you can accomplish that, that's fine. As you improve. Obviously, as your spending gets better and you're able to improve your macro, you wouldn't want this many villagers in queue. Okay, Flintlock. Starting to control the TPs again. Royal Mint is fine. I mean, you're still so far ahead, it doesn't matter what you send. Japan doesn't lose to 9 CDB Eco Pop. It's up to 15 again, but fact remains the same. Oh, you don't want to fight against those cannons. Just being a little sloppy. It looks like you just don't know how to end the game, really. Got a ton of resources to spend. Oh no, are you going to lose this game? Is this the game? I thought I had just gotten them switched around. That this is the game. You still win from here. You've got, look at how much resources you have veterancy upgrade for your Yumi. Shit, throw down 3 more Raxes back here and just spam units. You're still fine. Oh no, I have a bad feeling that you just, you panic here and you end up losing. Yabusame coming, that's a good response to what he has. You have so many resources, just train so many Yumi right now. Yumi are your anti-cannon. You don't need these castles, that's a mistake, just delete them, push the delete key. Train Yumi, train Yumi. Yumi and those couple Yabusame are all you're going to need. Remember, behind this, you have 60 villagers. He has 19. Yeah, he's got 3 TPs, but whatever. You've got a TP too. Train Yumi, train Yumi. Train units. You've got so many resources. Spend them. Don't tip your hand that you've got Yabusame. Either that or run down and just kill the explosive cannon. I'm still not convinced you can lose this game. There's no way you can lose this game. He hasn't gathered a hunt for the last 10 minutes. Way of the Bow, good card. Looks like you're transitioning over to rice patties, that's fine. Still so many resources. There we go. There's the Yumi. Train Yumi, train Yumi. Good unit. Especially with Way of the Bow. Oh, cut out of position, but it's not going to matter because Yumi are OP. Okay. Alright, so this, it looks like, was the game that you won. But here's what I have to say. First of all, I'm not convinced that your strategy is very good. I would prefer to see people who are learning to play the game stick to standard builds and master standard play. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Standard play is standard for a reason because it's been the most important thing that I'm going to say to you about this replay is twofold. One, let's look at the villager count because that was one thing that I was wondering about in the early portions of the game. And it is important to note these flat lines especially. Now, he had some flat lines as well. You killed a bunch of villagers, but during all of this early scrappy fighting, you need to be continuing to build villagers because at this point you're at 20 villagers at 9 minutes and 30 seconds, which is unacceptable for Japan. That number needs to be like 33 or 34. You could be like way up here in villager count, right? Like you could be up here and then the game would just be like absolutely be over. You'd have double his villager population. That said, at the end of the game you got things in order a little bit, but this kind of breaky, like really shaky villager population is, I would say at any level, is something that anyone should try and improve. The next thing to mention is spending your resources. You have to spend your resources. There were so many opportunities at like 12 minutes where you just had 2,000 resources that were unspent, could have been used in any number of ways, seriously, at almost any level with Japan. If you just train Ashigaros with your extra resources, it's never going to be a bad decision. Even if he's making pure crossbow or pure skirm, you can almost always justify just slamming all your resources into Ashi. So if you don't know how to spend your resources, you're on the fence about what to do, what to make Ashies until it costs you a game, is what I'm going to say. And realistically, in this game, you could have just trained anything. Yumis, Ashies, Nagis, it wouldn't have mattered. You would have just had way more stuff. You would have won by the Zutazuta more stuff principle, honestly. You just would have had more stuff than he had. Wouldn't have mattered what it was. But you just didn't spend your resources. And even at the end of the game, when you have a 70 villager economy, like, look at how many resources you have. You have 4,000 resources to spend, and plenty of population space to spend it in. So truthfully, you just have to spend your resources. Training villagers, spending resources. If you can do those two things, it's going to improve your gameplay tenfold. That's something that everyone really needs to do and really needs to practice, and I think it manifests itself well in this game. Composition-wise, I mean, not really much to say about that. You got caught out of position. Go back and watch some of the comments that I make about your army positioning, your building placement positioning, all of those things, you know, that I'm saying over the course of the commentary are important, but the two things that you really need to improve on are villager production at all times, especially in the first 15 minutes of the game. There's never any reason to not have a villager training unless your opponent is all in underneath your town center, actively trying to kill you. That's, I would say, the only acceptable time to not be training villagers is Japan. And two, to spend your resources. If you're going to play Japan, you're going to have a lot of resources on hand for a very large portion of the time. And as a result of that, I would definitely advocate making sure that you just spend your resources. Every 10 seconds, just look at your resources. If you have more than 500, figure out a way to spend them. The only acceptable time to have that many resources in bank is if you're saving to age. Truth be told, I don't think you're saving to age here. I think you have too many resources because you're just not spending them, or you're not comfortable spending them. So take those pieces of wisdom, try and improve your gameplay. Feel free to submit another replay. I'd be glad to take a look at it. A couple people in PR asking what PR this is. This is between the PR 20 and 23, I would say. So that's going to be it for SmackDown, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully Stefano watches this and finds it useful. And as always, thanks for tuning in. We're going to be playing Secret Hitler over on Interjection's channel in just a little bit. For those of you who are interested about that game or interested to see what all the fuss is about, I encourage you to watch that. But otherwise, thanks for tuning in. SmackDown will, of course, continue on, even though the tournaments are no longer in play. And hopefully we'll see you next week. And hopefully I'll have my computer fixed as well. So thanks for tuning in. It's been a pleasure as always. Until later, take care.